What hurts a woman the most when she doesn't value you is not your anger, not your words, not your arguments, but your silence. Silence is powerful because it creates a space where she no longer feels the energy she was once used to. When she doesn't value you, she expects that you'll keep chasing, that you'll keep reaching out, that you'll keep giving her your time and attention no matter how she treats you. She gets comfortable with that pattern because it feeds her ego. And as long as you're speaking, explaining, and proving yourself, she believes she still has the upper hand. But when you go silent, when you stop chasing and simply walk away without a fight, that's when she starts to feel something shift inside of her. Silence stings because it's unexpected. Most men will beg, argue, or try to win her back when they feel her pulling away. They try to use words to convince her of their worth. But what actually makes the deepest impact isn't pleading for her attention. It's showing her through complete silence that you're no longer interested in being where you're not valued. Suddenly, she notices the absence of your energy. The texts that once came every morning stop. The calls she used to ignore are no longer there. The attention that once made her feel important has vanished. And it's in that emptiness that she starts to feel the weight of what she dismissed. Your silence forces her to reflect. It makes her realize that the validation she once thought was endless has an expiration date. And the truth is, no matter how much she tried to act like she didn't need you, that attention, that consistency, that presence became a part of her daily life. Taking it away shows her the reality she never wanted to admit. She did need it, and now it's gone. More than that, silence communicates something words never could: strength. It shows her that you respect yourself enough not to beg. It tells her that you're not willing to keep pouring into someone who doesn't value what you give. And whether she admits it or not, that shift changes how she sees you. What once looked like weakness now becomes strength. What once looked like a man she could take for granted now looks like a man who refuses to be ignored. And here's the part that cuts the deepest. Silence is permanent until she earns back the right to hear your voice. That's what really hurts, because she doesn't know what you're thinking anymore. She doesn't know if you've moved on, and she doesn't know if she can ever get back the access she lost. That uncertainty burns more than any speech you could ever deliver. So understand this: when she doesn't value you, the strongest move you can make is silence. It's not revenge. It's not punishment. It's self-respect. And that silence will echo louder in her mind than anything you could ever say. What really hurts a woman when she doesn't value you is not when you lash out, not when you argue, and not when you try to prove your worth. It's when you become indifferent. Indifference is the ultimate power because it shows her that she no longer has control over your emotions. As long as she feels like she can get a reaction from you, whether it's anger, sadness, or desperation, she still feels significant in your world. Even negative attention keeps her ego alive. But when your emotions no longer respond to her actions, when you genuinely don't care whether she stays or goes, that's when she feels the sting of her own choices. Indifference is not the same as pretending. It's not about acting like you don't care while secretly obsessing over her. It's about truly shifting your focus away from her and back to yourself. It's the difference between checking your phone every 5 minutes, hoping she'll reach out, versus living your life so fully that you barely notice her silence. And nothing unsettles a woman more than realizing the man she thought would always react, always wait, always be there, has become completely unaffected by her behavior. This cuts deep because indifference sends a clear message: you've taken back your power. Instead of investing your energy into convincing her to see your worth, you've invested it into yourself. Instead of letting her dictate your emotions, you've chosen to rise above them. And the moment she realizes she no longer has that emotional grip on you, she begins to feel a loss that she never expected. The control she once had, the comfort of knowing she could always pull you back with a word or a gesture, is gone. Think about how powerful that shift is. At one point, she may have dismissed your feelings, ignored your effort, or acted like you didn't matter. She may have believed that no matter what, you would keep chasing because you couldn't imagine life without her. But indifference flips the script completely. It tells her, without you saying a word, that you are perfectly fine without her. And that truth can hurt more than anything else. Over time, indifference forces her to reflect on her actions. At first, she might brush it off, thinking you're just trying to get her attention. But as your consistency proves otherwise, as she sees you truly detached and genuinely unbothered, she begins to realize that she may have underestimated you. And when that realization sets in, it's painful because suddenly the man she thought she could always count on to be there isn't available anymore. And the irony is, when you stop caring, she starts to. When you stop chasing, she begins to wonder. When you stop feeding her ego, she begins to feel the void. That's the power of indifference. It hurts not because of what you do, but because of what you no longer do. And in that silence of indifference, she comes to see the truth. The man she didn't value has now become the man she can't forget. What cuts the deepest when a woman doesn't value you is seeing you thrive without her. In her mind, she may believe that walking away, ignoring you, or taking you for granted will leave you broken, stuck, and longing for her attention. That thought gives her comfort because it reassures her that she still has some control, even in her absence. But when she sees that instead of crumbling, you rise, when she notices that you are smiling, focused, building, and becoming stronger than before, that's when reality hits her in ways she never expected. Thriving without her is not only a sign of your strength, it's the ultimate reminder that she was never your source of happiness. And that truth hurts her more than anything. At first, she might dismiss it. She might think you're pretending that your happiness is just an act to make her jealous. But over time, consistency speaks louder than any performance. When you keep growing, when your success is steady, when your joy is genuine, she starts to realize that your life truly doesn't revolve around her anymore. And that's when the missing begins, because now she has to confront the fact that you were never dependent on her the way she imagined. Thriving without her doesn't just mean money or status, though those things may be part of it. It means you're glowing with self-respect, peace, and purpose. It means you're working on your body, your mind, your relationships, and your goals. It means the energy she once drained from you is now being poured back into yourself, and that shift radiates in everything you do. When she sees that glow, whether directly or through the stories others tell, it stings because it proves you're not only fine without her, you're better. And here's the part that hurts most. She begins to imagine what it would feel like to stand beside the man you've become. She remembers the version of you she left behind, and then she sees the new, elevated version in front of her, and regret begins to creep in. She realizes that the man she once dismissed is now the man another woman could enjoy. And that thought eats at her pride. Thriving without her forces her to see her own mistake, because what she thought was the end of your story was actually the beginning of your rise. The beauty of this is that thriving is not about revenge. It's not about proving her wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Proving that your value, your happiness, and your strength were always within you, never depended on her validation. And that authenticity is what makes it sting even more, because she knows you didn't grow for her, you grew for you. And that's when the pain sinks in. The woman who didn't value you is now forced to watch you becoming unforgettable without her. What hurts a woman the most when she doesn't value you is realizing that she wasn't replaced by another woman. She was replaced by your peace. Most people think jealousy is about someone new entering the picture, but the truth is, the deepest cut comes when she sees you don't even need anyone else to be fulfilled. When she notices that instead of running to rebound relationships or desperately searching for attention, you chose stillness, focus, and peace, it unsettles her in a way nothing else can. Because peace is something she can't compete with, And that realization stings far more than imagining another person in your life. In her mind, she may believe that walking away will leave you restless, searching, and unable to stand on your own. She expects you to chase distractions or throw yourself into something meaningless just to fill the void. But when she sees you calm, grounded, and genuinely happy in your solitude, it forces her to recognize a truth she wasn't ready for. You were never dependent on her presence to find balance. And that independence, that ability to be whole without her, is what makes her question everything she thought she knew about her hold over you. Peace is powerful because it's not loud, it's not for show, and it can't be faked for long. Anyone can pretend to move on by posting pictures with someone new or pretending to be busy, but real peace shows in the glow on your face, the calm in your energy, and the quiet confidence in your actions. And when she notices that glow, when she senses that calm, it hurts because it tells her she no longer has the power to disturb your spirit. And this is where the regret begins to deepen for her. She realizes that while she was chasing distractions, you were building stability within yourself. While she may have sought validation from the outside world, you found it inside yourself. And the contrast between her noise and your calm makes her feel the emptiness of her own choices. That contrast makes her miss you, not just as a person, but as a presence that brought stability and strength into her life. What cuts even deeper is that peace doesn't just benefit you, it attracts others. When you're peaceful, confident, and whole, people naturally gravitate toward you. That includes friends, opportunities, and yes, potential partners. So when she sees you at peace, she not only realizes she no longer has access to that energy, but she also fears that someone else might. And the thought of another person enjoying the version of you that she once overlooked creates a pain she can't ignore. Peace is the ultimate replacement because it cannot be taken away, it cannot be manipulated, and it cannot be forced. And when she sees you resting in it, living in it, and protecting it, she realizes that she lost more than a man. She lost a man who became untouchable through his own self-control. And that's when it hits her. Nothing hurts more than being replaced not by someone else, but by the peace she never gave you. What truly hurts a woman when she doesn't value you is losing access to your energy. In the beginning, she may take for granted the way you gave her attention, your time, your love, and your effort. She may even act like those things don't mean much to her, brushing them off as if they were ordinary, something she could find anywhere. But the truth is, the energy you gave was unique. It was the way you made her feel safe, the way you showed up, the way you listened, and the way you cared. That energy had power, and when she no longer has access to it, the void becomes undeniable. Energy is something we often don't recognize until it's gone. When you were always available, she might not have noticed how much she depended on it. She thought it would always be there, like the air she breathed. But when you step back, when you stop over giving, when you protect your energy and keep it for yourself, suddenly she feels a difference. The texts that once gave her reassurance are silent. The comfort of knowing you'd always pick up the phone is no longer there. The consistency of your presence disappears. And it's in that moment that she realizes how rare your energy truly was. What makes this hurt even more is the realization that energy cannot be replaced by surface level attention. She can distract herself with new people, new experiences, and temporary thrills. But deep down, she notices that it doesn't feel the same. The depth, the authenticity, the devotion you once brought cannot be copied. That's why your absence begins to sting more than your presence ever did. She starts to remember the little things she overlooked, the way you cared when no one else did, and the way you gave without asking for anything in return. And regret begins to settle in because now she understands that access to that kind of energy was a privilege, not a guarantee. This is why protecting your energy is so powerful. When you stop pouring it into someone who doesn't value it, you remind her and yourself of its worth. You shift from being easily accessible to becoming rare. And people always crave what they can't easily have. She begins to replay the times she dismissed your efforts. And it hurts because she now knows she may never feel that energy again. And here's the truth. Energy is the real currency of relationships. It's more valuable than money, more lasting than looks, and more meaningful than gifts. When you pull yours back, she feels the loss in her soul because your energy was not just something she enjoyed, it was something that made her feel alive. Losing that access reminds her of what she once had and may never have again, and that's when the pain cuts deepest. When she realizes the energy she didn't value is the very thing she now craves the most. What hurts a woman the most when she doesn't value you is the realization of regret over time. In the beginning, when she dismisses you, ignores your worth, or even walks away, she may feel empowered. At first, it might seem like her decision doesn't carry weight because she's distracted by excitement, new experiences, or the belief that she can easily replace you. In those early moments, she may even convince herself that you weren't as important as you thought. But time has a way of breaking illusions. Time is the mirror that reflects back the truth she tried to avoid, and slowly regret begins to take root. At first, the regret comes in quiet flashes. A memory will surface. The way you laughed together, the way you supported her in ways others didn't, the consistency you showed. She might brush it off and distract herself, but the memory returns again, this time stronger. Then one day, she finds herself comparing the people around her to you. And no matter how hard she tries, they don't measure up. That's when regret begins to hurt, because she starts to realize that what she once took for granted was rare. Regret intensifies when she notices how you've changed. If she sees you thriving, becoming stronger, living with purpose, it forces her to confront what she lost. The man she dismissed is no longer the same man. He's grown, leveled up, and built a life that no longer includes her. And the worst part of regret is knowing that you can't undo the past. She may wish she had valued you differently, but time has already moved forward and you are no longer waiting where she left you. This regret is deeper than jealousy, deeper than missing attention. It's about realizing that she miscalculated. She thought your love and effort were endless. She thought you would always be there no matter how she treated you. But over time, she sees that those things were not infinite. She realizes she made the mistake of assuming your value would remain in her reach, and when that assumption shatters, the pain becomes unavoidable. Time is ruthless in that way. It strips away distractions, it exposes temporary thrills, and it forces her to face reality. And the reality is that men who truly give with depth and authenticity are not easy to find. So when she looks back and remembers what she had, regret hits with full force because she knows she could not go back and change the way she treated you. And that's the hardest truth for her to swallow. Not that you left, but that she lost the version of you who once gave her everything. Because now you become someone who understands his value, someone who doesn't wait for validation, and someone who refuses to be taken for granted again. And that's why regret hurts her the most, because it comes too late at a time when you've already outgrown her.